Hello all, good evening. Welcome to Mission Possible by CA Bharat. We are covering AFP module, and in that we are now going to learn about one more important topic which is called as accounting for share capital. It is very important in terms of your exam. A good number of questions come from this chapter, and also it is very easy because if you have the good understanding of the basics like debit and credit, then this chapter is all about journal entries, and I don't think it is a much bigger issue when compared to your other chapters. So just let's quickly get started, and just the basic theory definitions I will just provide this version of Word document or the PDF in our group. You can go through the theory there as well. I'll just quickly run through the theory part as well. We all know that the company is an artificial person and it is created by law, and that's the reason company and the persons who have invested money in the company both are different. Company is different and the shareholders are both different. They are not one and the same. Characteristics of a company, it has its own existence. It has a common seal. Shares are transferable. The liability of the members of the company are limited to the extent of unpaid amount of the shares held by them. So this is also very important, which you should learn. MCQs come from these kind of topics and these kind of lines. The liability of a shareholder is only limited to the extent of unpaid amount of the shares held by them. For example, if the share is to 10 rupees and I have only paid 7 rupees, then my liability is only to the extent of 3 rupees. They can't ask me 4 rupees or 5 rupees. The liability of any shareholder is limited to the extent of the share value, and also if any unpaid amount is there, only till that value. Okay. And then types of companies, there are public limited company, private company, and one person company. One person company was specifically introduced in Companies Act 2013. This is very important, they may ask you. And one person company is nothing but, the name itself suggests only one company, one person rules the company, and only a natural person being an Indian citizen and resident in India can form one person company. It cannot carry non-banking financial investment activities. Paid up share capital is not more than 50 lakhs, and these are the conditions which are generally given for one person company. You can just read it when I provide the version of this document in the group. And then some other important terms. Yes, this is very important. Minimum subscription. Many people get confused as to what is authorized, sir, what is issued, what is called up. We don't even understand the differentiation. So here we will learn about the differentiation. Minimum subscription amount is nothing but the amount which is stated in the prospectus. Every company which issues shares issues a prospectus. That is a mandatory for any company which is going to issue shares. So in the prospectus, they tell that this is the minimum amount which we must collect, which we should get the subscription from the public before an allotment of any security is made. That means it is the amount of minimum capital. That means if I issue, for example, 1000 rupees, then in the prospectus it will say that at least I should receive 500 rupees from the public. This is the minimum amount which I expect from the people, to purchase my shares. Even if 500 is not purchased, then I will cancel this and go for again a allotment. So that is what is minimum subscription, the minimum amount which the company should receive so that it can allot the shares. Okay. Next is share capital. Share capital is nothing but the capital which is issued through shares, or the capital which is raised by issue of shares. Next is authorized capital. Authorized capital is mentioned in your memorandum of association. It is called also the nominal capital or the registered capital, and you must understand that it is the maximum amount of a capital a company can issue. The authorized capital is always mentioned in MOA, memorandum of association. So generally when they write the authorized capital, they write the maximum amount. Even if they want to keep the issued capital or the paid up capital lesser amount, but they keep the authorized capital at the maximum possible extent, because if they want to change the authorized capital, then again it requires amendment of memorandum of association, and it is again a big procedure. So generally what happens is, like if the company wants a minimum capital of 50k or 50,000, then authorized capital generally they will keep 5 lakh or 10 lakh, so that they need not change the MOA again and again. So memorandum of association tells the authorized capital, and that is the maximum capital which the company can call for. Issued capital is nothing but part of authorized capital which is offered to public for subscription. For example, 5 lakhs is your authorized capital, and the company has decided to call for 2 lakh capital. So this is called as issued capital. Out of the authorized capital, the amount which the company wants to give to the public and get money from the public is called as issued capital. Called up capital. Called up is nothing but it is the amount of nominal value of shares that has been called up by the company. That means generally, nowadays entire amount is collected at a single instance in IPO, but there are provisions for the company, like it can collect money in terms of share application, in terms of share allotment and call, which we will learn in the next few minutes. But for now, you just understand that called up is nothing but out of this issued, whatever the company has received in its bank account is called as called up capital, assuming the company has received only 1 lakh. So it has issued 2 lakhs, but the company has received only 1 lakh, still 1 lakh is pending. So whatever is the company received, that is called as your called up capital. Next is paid up. It is part of the called up capital that the members of the shareholders have paid. So that is nothing but the amount which has actually been paid by the members. Next is your reserve capital. Reserve capital is nothing but that part of your capital which is uncalled, and it is generally called only during the winding up of a company. Just like what I explained some time ago. For example, total 10 rupees per share and the company has called up 7 rupees and this called up entirely is paid up. Okay. So 3 rupees is pending. So these 3 rupees generally they don't call it until the company gets winded up. So this capital is called as reserve capital because they generally keep it as a reserves. In the case the company decides to wind up or the company goes insolvent or the company decides to shut down, then they ask the shareholders, you have already paid me 7 rupees, still you owe me 3 rupees, so kindly pay your 3 rupees. So this 3 rupees which is generally kept as a reserve till the wind up of the company is called as reserve capital. Okay, so the most important term is authorized. Authorized ke baad it will come as issued, the amount which is issued out of the authorized, and then the amount which is called up, and then the amount which is paid. Okay, called and paid are not generally the same. Called up means I asked you to give me money. Paid up is how much you gave me. Okay, so that is the difference between called up and paid up. And then unpaid. Unpaid is nothing but generally the company can choose to call it at the time of winding up. It is also called as reserve capital. Capital reserve and reserve capital are two entirely different things. Don't get confused, because sometimes in MCQs they give this type of confusing topics. Capital reserve is nothing but capital profit. It is shown in your balance sheet in reserves and surplus. What is capital profit? If you sell a plant and machinery, if you sell a fixed asset, it is called as capital profit. What is revenue profit? Revenue profit is something which you sell from your daily trading activities or manufacturing activities. It is your normal sales income, whereas capital profit is abnormal in nature, like when you receive an amount from sale of fixed assets, because capital asset, it is a asset is a capital in nature. So when you sell that, the profit that you receive from the capital asset is called as capital profit. It is also shown in balance sheet under reserves and surplus. Capital reserve, reserve capital, two entirely different things. Do not get confused. Reserve capital is that part of the capital which is not yet paid up and which is not yet even called up by the company. It will be called up only during the time of winding up of the company. You can refer this 10 rupees example. Next is private placement of shares. We all know this. It is an institutional placement. Generally, people who already have institutional supporting or institutional backing up, they generally, instead of going for an IPO, they give it to the institutions and they subscribe the entire capital. Next is calls in arrears. Calls in arrears means an amount which has been called up but not paid by the shareholder. So same like, for example, out 3 rupees I have called for allotment, okay, but it is not yet paid. It is not yet paid. So if it is not yet paid, then it becomes calls in arrear, okay. Next is calls in advance. Calls in advance is nothing but amount which is paid in advance. So 3 rupees I fixed for allotment and 3 rupees I fixed for calls, but what happened is the shareholder paid 6 rupees in advance. So here 3 rupees is something which the shareholder has paid in advance. Interest is also paid on this advance as per the Articles of Association. Generally it is 12% per annum as per table F of the Articles of Association. So calls in arrear and calls in advance. So issuing of shares at discount, you should remember that a company generally cannot issue shares at a discount other than sweat equity shares. Only sweat equity shares can be issued at discount. Normal shares cannot be issued at a discount. There is only one situation where a company can issue shares at discount. That is when the company has already issued shares and forfeited and the same forfeited shares again it is reissuing, then at that point of time it can issue at a discount, because already we would have collected some money on forfeiture, so we can utilize that forfeiture amount to set off the discount, and the discount is also limited to the forfeiture amount. That means, for example, assuming 100 rupees I have issued shares but I have forfeited it, next time instead of this 100 rupees I can issue shares at a discount of 20 rupees. So where will this 20 rupees come from? Already I have forfeited 100 rupees. So I can utilize 20 rupees here and make it 100. So this is the only situation where we can issue shares at a discount. That means reissue of forfeited shares. Issue of shares at a premium. Premium can be always issued. We can issue n, there is no limit for the premium. But here you should remember these 5 important points. So the premium which is collected when issue of shares, it can be utilized only for these 5 purposes and not for any other purpose. One is issuing of fully paid bonus shares, writing of the preliminary expenses. Preliminary expenses means the expenses which are incurred before starting the company. It is generally amortized after the company comes into existence. It is also called as something, capital in nature. So writing of preliminary expenses, writing of securities issue expense for providing the premium repayable on redemption of redeemable preference shares and for buyback of its own shares. Only for these 5 purposes premium can be utilized. Other than this, the premium cannot be utilized for any other purpose. So you should remember that fact. Employee stock option plan, it is nothing but the employees get some shares option by the company, and they say that the value of the share, for example, market rate is 100 rupees. They give this share to the employees at 50 rupees at a discount in general, and they say that in order to earn this you have to work for 3 years in the company. If they complete 3 years of service, then they get the share at 50 rupees. So at that time, if the share market value is 150 rupees, then the employee can get a benefit of 100 rupees by selling this share. So this is just to motivate the employee. Generally, most of the startup companies or the venture capital companies, their CTC or their salary structure includes employee stock option plan, because the startup will grow, and as and when it grows, the value of the share also grows. Shares can never be issued at a discount. This you should always remember. Only reissue of forfeited shares discount is allowed. Very, very important. Please do remember. And all the other theoretical aspects which are mentioned here, you can just have a look at it and read it. It is equally important, but I just want to move to the practical part of this. So now we will just start with a basic sum. This question is all about the presentation in the balance sheet. I wanted to explain this because we should know which capital comes in which area in the balance sheet, because that also sometimes they ask you where is issued capital shown, where is share premium shown. So all these things will get cleared in this. So you can just read the question. STL Global was formed with a nominal share capital. Nominal is nothing but your authorized capital, and the company offered 1,30,000 shares. This is nothing but the issued capital, and again the amount was split 3 per application, 3 per share allotment, and the balance on first and final call. Okay, so 3, 3 and 4 applications were received for 1,20,000. That means it is undersubscribed. So 10,000 shares were not subscribed. All money payable on allotment was duly received except 2,000 shares held by Y. So that means out of this 1,20,000 shares, 2,000 shares held by Y, he didn't pay the money, and first and final call was not made by the company yet. That means only application and allotment was called up. First and final call was not yet called up. Okay, so this is how you should understand the question. Now we will just move on to the answer balance sheet. Okay, so the most important thing is this one, friend. This is what I wanted you to understand. Authorized capital, that means the maximum amount of capital or the nominal capital. In the question itself we saw this. And then issued capital. Okay, they issued only 1,30,000 shares. So first comes authorized and then come issued and then subscribed but not fully paid up capital. That means 1,20,000 shares of 10 each, 6 per share called up. That means they called 6 per share. Okay, so 1,20,000 into 6, that is what you should write. And now you have a doubt that there is calls in arrears. Yes, we have to reduce the calls in arrears. So we should also show that, less calls in arrears. 2,000 shares into 3 rupees. That means one person didn't pay the allotment money. Why? That is what we have to reduce. 6,000. So 7,20,000 minus 6,000, 7,14,000. This is nothing but subscribed but not fully paid up. Not fully paid up because only 6 rupees. Only the share capital, only the share application, the share allotment has been called. Whereas the final call of 4 rupees is not yet called. So until and unless it is not yet called, it doesn't become fully paid up capital. That's why we are mentioning not fully paid up capital, subscribed but not fully paid up capital. Okay, so this is nothing but also your called up capital. So called up capital minus your calls in arrears is something which is shown here as 7,14,000. So this presentation is important, you should understand that. Next is on April 12, Janta Limited was formed with an authorized capital. Authorized, okay. So first thing which you should mark is authorized. Authorized means the maximum. The company issued prospectus inviting 90,000. That means this one is issued out of 1 lakh equity shares. It issued 90. The issue price was as under 15 on allotment. Application 15, allotment 20, and balance on final call. That means 50 rupees. 50 minus 15 minus 20. So balance is 15 rupees, which is on final call. Okay. The issue was fully subscribed. So it was fully subscribed by the people, and the company allotted shares to the applicants. The company did not make the call during the year. Okay. So the call was not made here. So that is very, very important. Fully subscribed. That means people expressed their intention to subscribe for the capital of the company, but the company has not yet started the process of calling up of capital. Only after calling up of capital, the shareholders will pay money one by one, like for application 15 rupees, allotment 20 rupees. So as of now, they say that the company did not make the call during the year. So that is also important to note. So we just will see the presentation here. Okay. That is very, very important. As usual, first authorized 1 lakh equity shares, right? Next is issued capital. Out of this 1,90,000 were issued to the public. Subscribed capital. Again, under subscribed capital, not fully paid up is important because the company did not call up, right? So that is what is mentioned here. Subscribed but not fully paid up. 45 lakhs. Okay, 90,000 shares of 50 each, and 35 called up. So the company did not make the called up during the year. The issue was fully subscribed and the company allotted shares. Okay, it has allotted. So that means allotment money has been taken. Only the final call money has not been called up. So the 15 rupees has not been called up. Only 35 has been called up. So we have to mention the amount of total subscribed capital here, and then whatever is the called up amount, that we have to mention here. So this is very, very important, friends. I wanted you to understand this. That's why these two examples. Other than that, it's not much relevant for your exams. Only this presentation is important. Authorized first, issued next, and then subscribed. Again, in subscribed, whether it is fully paid or not fully paid is something which you need to know. Issued shares can be issued in two ways: for cash, for consideration other than cash. For your exam point of view, for cash is very, very important. For consideration other than cash, you won't expect that much MCQs because it is quite a different topic and not necessary also in terms of your MCQ. Not much necessary. So shares can be issued at par, at premium. Okay. Now we will solve a sum so that you can understand the journal entry. So this is where your entire crux of the share capital lies, because they ask you to pass the journal entries or tell the journal entries which account will be debited, which account will be credited. So you need to know the basics. It's again depends upon the basics of your accounting. It all revolves around the same concept, friends: real account, nominal account, and the general rule which I always say, logical account. Okay, logical rule or logical account you should follow. Okay, so let's get started. First is Vaibhav Limited issued 1 lakh shares of 10 at par. The whole amount was payable with application. That means no allotment and final call. Entire 10 rupees should be paid with application money. Pass the necessary journal entries. So the first thing which you should know is like bank account debit and share application and allotment account. Why bank account debit? Because money is coming in. Debit what comes in. So bank is an asset. Asset always have debit balance. That's why bank we are debiting, and share application and allotment account we are crediting. Share application and allotment is nothing but something which lies on the opposite side of the balance sheet. Bank is on asset side. This is on liability side. It is shown on your liability side. Liability side. Asset here. Liabilities here. So 10 lakhs is shown here and 10 lakhs is shown here. So your balance sheet is balanced, right? Next is, after receiving the money, you have to, this share application and allotment, whatever it is always a temporary account, friends. You must remember that. Either your share application or share allotment or share call, all these are temporary account. Just while purpose of receiving the money or allotting, you will use this account, and then you will transfer this entire balance to share capital account. So this is what is the second entry. The first entry is receipt of money, second is nothing but allotment. So the share capital credit which you posted here, it will become debit. You will just reverse it and then share capital account 10 lakhs you will credit. So the ultimate entry is bank debit to share capital credit. So bank is an asset, share capital is on liability side, balance sheet will match. So that is what the entry is here. Next is a further next level of the question. Here you will have different amounts for allotment and application. 10,000 shares, 10 rupees, 2 rupees on application, 5 on allotment, and balance 3 rupees on calls. 2, 5 and 3. The whole of the above issue was applied and cash duly received. So every cash has been received. So the first journal entry as usual, bank to share application 2 rupees. Okay, the share application was 2 rupees, and then immediately this share application is a temporary account. The share application immediately you will reverse it and take it to share capital, because if you see in the balance sheet, you will have share capital only. Generally we do not show share application or share allotment or something. We show it as part of share capital only. Okay, in the notes to accounts you can show whatever you want, this much amount for share allotment, share application, but on the face of the balance sheet, just like how I explained earlier, authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, again in subscribed, called up, not called up, that's it. In notes to accounts you can show the breakup, but on the face of the balance sheet is what you need to show is what I have shown a few seconds ago. So this share application will be knocked off and share capital will be credited. So this is a liability. Okay. Next is share allotment. So only for application, first you need to pass the bank entry, friends. But for the next, like allotment or call, generally we will allot the shares first and then we will pass the entry. Why? Because first application money we have to receive, then only the company gets the confirmation that the shareholder is going to buy. But for the other calls, generally what happens is the company will call up. That means for allotment it says that 2 rupees is the called up amount for allotment and I will allot you the shares. Please pay the amount before so and so date. So on or before that date, the shareholders have to pay that money to the company. To make it more simple, once the application amount is received, then the company will call up the amount for allotment. The call up amount for allotment will be done by the company, and the company will say that I am going to allot you, for example here 10,000 shares, I am going to allot you 10,000 shares, I am allotting you, please pay the money of whatever the 5 rupees on or before September 30. Okay, so the allotment is first made and then before September 30 the money is received by the company. So here if you see the share allotment, first share allotment to share capital entry is passed. Nothing but what we have seen here. This and this are the same, but share application, share allotment and share final call are the only terms changing. Credit is always to share capital account, 5 rupees per share. And then on September 30, the company receives the money. So again, the same money, bank account to share allotment, because for share allotment we have received the money. So share allotment debit here and share allotment credit here gets knocked off. So the ultimate entry is the same, friends, bank debit to share capital, because all these amounts you should remember that it should be credited to share capital. That should be your main intention in your mind. This logic you should understand. All the other accounts are temporary. It will get knocked off. Ultimately your share capital account should be credited. Next is the final call. Here also again, first we will allot and we will say that we are allotting the shares to you. Please pay the money of 3 rupees on or before November. So we will allot the shares first, being the amount due on 10,000 shares at 3,000 rupees being okay, and then we will bank to share capital final call, the amount which we receive. Okay, so we can even consider this as an accrual example. In accrual, what we do, friends, in accrual we don't just wait for the transaction to happen. We pass an entry assuming that the transaction is going to happen, just like how you pass a provision entry. Accrual accounting means the transaction or the cash need not be received. That is a major difference between an accrual basis of accounting and a cash basis of accounting. In cash basis of accounting, only when cash is received and paid you have to post the entry, whereas in accrual entry you need not wait till you receive the cash. You can post an accrual entry and then when the actual cash is received you can adjust that. So that is also one of the premise under which these entries are passed. Only the application money is first passed bank account, and for all the remaining calls the allotment or the accrual entry is first passed, and then the company receives the money and the set of entry is passed. So that is what is most important here to understand. So with this we will end this chapter because I don't want to make the videos a bit lengthy. In the next video I will again cover more on premium, discount and forfeiture. That is what is most important in this lesson. So far all this lesson is only about basics. So we have just understood what is authorized, issued capital, called up capital, uncalled up capital, calls in arrears, calls in advance, and how to post the journal entries. Journal entries are fairly very simple. Just the basic understanding of debit and credit is what you need it. You should also understand that for share application, first money is received and then allotment, and then you pass the accrual entry, whereas for all the remaining calls like allotment or share final call, first the accrual entry is passed. So that is what I have shown here. First the accrual entry is passed, and next when the payment is received, this is adjusted. But the ultimate entry will always be bank account debit to share capital credit. Okay, that is when your balance sheet will match. Your balance sheet should match, isn't it? So if I receive 10 rupees, the 10 rupees is for share capital, so that 10 rupees should be shown here. So the ultimate entry will be this. The share application, share allotment and share call account are temporary accounts. It should be knocked off and it should be transferred to share capital account. Please do remember this. So with that I end this video, and we will again meet up in the next video to learn more about this topic. Thank you very much, friends.